Alright, I'm gonna do an experience report on Allylescaline. Oh, I felt real good to say. I'm not high, I'm just, how you say, fed bored. You kinda see me now. So, yeah, sorry, I'm just, walking through my house. It's a bit dark in here. It's a wee bit dark in my house right now. I could edit this, but it's more fun to do things in one take. It's just a little bit more real, a little less comfortable. Ah, there we go. Whoa, I fuzzed my camera up doing that shit. But, such is life. Yeah, so, I'm going to do a trip report on, / experience report on Allylescaline. Just because, well, it's a very rare compound, something not many people do trip reports on. And I've taken it quite a few times, so, yeah, might as well give it a go. I don't really have a big memory of the experiences as such, more just the feelings that accompanied them. There was nothing special, no great stories to tell you as such with Allylescaline, at least not on its own. But yeah, so I'll start off with lower end doses, which would be, say, 30 milligrams. Apparently that's a mid dose, but for me I'd say that's a lower end dose. So yeah, on 30 milligrams, honestly, you don't really get the psychedelia you get from other phenethylamines or tryptamines. In fact, well, it's not that I don't find it psychedelic as such. I mean, nah, I don't find it psychedelic as such. Let's be real about it. Unless I'm using the word psychedelic wrong. Like, so at that kind of dose, I really don't get visuals at all. Like, I get very slight colour intensity increase, which is nice. I get a little bit of silly thought, like you would on hallucinogens normally. I feel a lot happier. It's like, it's very similar to MDMA in a way. Well, not very similar, but it's like a small amount of MDMA. It's quite nice in that way. It gives you a nice, pleasant feeling. It sort of gives you tingles around your body, makes you more sensitive. Makes you feel a little bit odd, but it doesn't really warp you physically. It doesn't make you feel too silly. You don't have crazy thoughts or sporadic visions. You don't have really insane visuals. You don't really have any visuals. It just very slightly enhances things. Now, one good thing I noticed was with food and with smells and textures and pretty much everything, it sort of enhanced the taste. Like, so for example, when you have a lot of LSD or a lot of another hallucinogen, when you eat things, sometimes the flavour's sort of enhanced, but it's really, really bizarre. Like, in some aspects it's enhanced, in some aspects it's a lot worse, and it's really bizarre, and it's a strange sensation that's quite complex to process when you're tripping really hard. I find with this stuff, at that dosage, it doesn't really scramble the way things taste and smell in a bad way. It scrambles them in a good way. It completely enhances and enriches food for me. And rather than having the weirdness that's just weird, it's a pleasurable kind of weirdness. I find it's a very good thing to take just for a little bit of background stimulation. So yeah, on lower doses, it's just a nice and not very psychedelic hallucinogen. Now, I'll talk about higher doses. So I've taken, say, 40 milligrams and, say, 60 milligrams. And you know what? Hasn't changed the effects for me. I don't know if that's for me personally, but from what I've gathered from taking it, doesn't seem to be about how much you take. It seems to be about taking the right amount to get to that headspace, and any further amount just seeks to lengthen the experience a bit rather than actually make you trip at all or feel those feelings any harder. So it's kind of a waste of hallucinogen to be taking 60 milligrams or 100 milligram doses, because, well, for me at least, it doesn't seem to have any extra effect. Like, there's no added bonus except a bit of extra time. But for the amount of time you gain, you're doing 100 milligrams, you'll add a few hours to your experience, which is like 50% extra time. But if you just took another 30 milligram dose afterwards, you'd have another 6 hours or so. You'd be saving yourself a lot of milligrams after that. So, yeah, it really doesn't make sense to me to be taking higher doses personally. But, it's a really nice chemical. Like, it's not very heavily psychedelic. It's just feels pleasurable. It just sort of gives you a little drive. It just makes you feel nice on a day. You can still focus on it. It doesn't distract you too much. It does make you a little sillier, but you're still functional as such. It doesn't make you more functional. Don't get the wrong end of the stick. It does make you slightly less functional, but it doesn't impair you to a level that you become stupid as such. So, it's a workable kind of psychedelic. Now, I'm telling you all this, and it probably sounds like, oh, it's a nice little experience, blah, 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 there's not much more to it. There's one other thing that makes this a particularly good chemical, is that in combination with other hallucinogens, it gives just an added little thing. I can't really describe what, it just enhances everything a little bit, gives it a new texture, makes it feel more slippery, a little bit more electric. Example of chemicals I've taken it with would be Fohomet, magic mushrooms, I think 2CP, yes, it was 2CP at one point, and also modafinil. Oh, the combination with modafinil was great. Actually, the combination with 2CP was insane. But yeah, I'm getting derailed there. So, it's good on its own. It doesn't make you trip real hard on its own. It's not a major experience. It's just a sort of nice one. A little bit enactogenic, I think is the word. And in combination with other things, it sort of brings more out of the other thing. It brings you more experience. Just that little bit. It just gives you that little edge on top of an already existing psychedelic. So, for me, Allylescaline, whilst weak on its own, is still nice on its own. Quite very nice on its own. And in combination, is absolutely freaking amazing. So, yeah, for me personally, I think Allylescaline is a brilliant chemical, a great one to have around. The way I would recommend doing Allylescaline to myself is basically whenever I want, as much as I want. I mean, I probably do it for 3 or 4 days and give myself a break for the serotonin changes it gives me. And then every now and then when I want a new edge on a hallucinogen I've already taken, or on a new hallucinogen that I've never tried in combination with another, I'd have a little bit of Allylescaline and try it like that. And yeah, I think that would work wonders personally. So yeah, in conclusion, no real cons. Pros are, it's really, oh well, I guess, okay, so the only con is it's not extremely psychedelic, but because of that con, there's a pro that it feels really nice in general. You can have as much or as little as you want, and it's still the same sort of effect, and it's brilliant in combination. It's a really, really nice chemical, for me anyway. Yeah, it's just a feel-good chemical, like a mild version of MD with a very slightly trippy edge, but not a major trip. Nothing really pushing the boundaries of reality or such. Anyways, that was my Allylescaline experience/trip report. Hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for listening. Bah.